Big up Instagram trying to mess up my live. It's all good. We're still using your platform. Soon we build our own platforms. Welcome if you're just joining us. This is 21 Questions, the One Voice edition, where we're collectively coming as one voice to just share how we're feeling about the current affairs and the stuff that's been happening this year. Obviously, for those who are aware of ENDSARS campaign in Nigeria, just people who are trying to get justice, the right to be treated like a human being from their government, but this same government opening fire on them. And for some people, over the last 2 weeks, this has been a difficult time because it has hit home, as we spoke with Triple O and he mentioned, it hitting home for him. But we did discuss how, in reality, these things are happening across the world, and sometimes we do pick and choose when to get involved, when to be affected, when to have empathy and compassion. And maybe this has kind of shown us that we can't wait till it hits home, but we have to show the same compassion and show the same empathy as if it was hitting our own home, whether it's in China, whether it's in Congo, whether it's in America, wherever it is, for us to get involved. Big up Marbies, big up Ayo, big up Triple O, who've kind of got involved and spoken. This is an open platform. Renee, how are you? This is an open platform today, so I want to hear from you. So Wayne, I'm going to come over to you right about now. Hope you're ready to receive me. Let's see. Big up Cressy Beats. When I talk about, big up you all the time. Becky, good for you to join us, man. Good to see you. This is part 3 now. I think I'm on part 3.
I see.
Yo, I can't even see you.
What up, homie? That's good, man.
I can't even see you,
You can't see me?
Maybe your thing's taking time to connect.
Huh?
I think yours is waiting to connect.
Waiting to connect.
Can you see me?
I see you perfectly, bro.
Let's see. All right, let me try that again. I love Instagram today. Hold on. Let's see if I'll do that again. Big up everyone that can join. You said you can see us both. I didn't even see him. We can see. Can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly, bro.
Cool. Can you see me?
Perfectly, bro.
Cool, man. So big up to Wayne. Me and Wayne, we work together. And I guess during this year, we've shared so many different moments where world affairs are happening, and we've kind of had to, how can I put it? We've kind of had to band together, especially within our workplace, band together and either speak on them or action things. And so I kind of wanted to ask you about the power of change in numbers, when the George Floyd thing happened. Can you hear me? How's it going? Technology is loving it today. Let me see if I can do it on here. He's gone. Okay, let's try him again. We keep trying. Let's try again. Okay, I can see you. Cool.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So, what did you hear? What did you hear me say last?
Changing numbers. Power and changing numbers.
Come on, boy. So yeah, me and Wayne, we work together, and yeah. So I wanted to ask about the power of change in numbers, because even for the George Floyd incident, you went out there to march, so you were on the front line. You could see it live in person. Tell me about what you kind of witnessed from your point of view of everyone coming together to affect change. How powerful is that? Is it useful at all? Is there power?
Is there power in numbers?
Yeah, and like you seeing it, live in flesh.
Absolutely, bro. Yeah, man. I mean, definitely united we stand, isn't it? It's the
Hmm.
age-old saying. Um, the more of us that speak, the more of us that come together, the more powerful and the more energy that we have in order to
Yeah,
create change. So, um, and it's even better if within the masses, there's almost, there's a united voice
hmm,
that speaks. Because one of the, I mean, going to specifically the BLM marches that I went to, I found that there were several different platforms, all preaching, all saying things, but saying a slightly different rhetoric.
yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, I just think there's a power in numbers, and as long as the leadership is strong,
Hmm.
the roots will be strong, and change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How have you kind of felt over the last kind of 2 weeks or so, or about this, more so this week, about the stuff happening in Nigeria and stuff? Has that affected you? Has that been something you've been aware of?
I see. I tell you, like, it's been heavy. I can't lie to you. It's been heavy, 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 heavy on my spirit. I feel like my spirit has been really taxed, and I am. I feel on shaky ground. I feel unsettled. I feel a variety of emotions. I feel as though, as a black man in this world, I feel as though um, it's difficult to it's difficult to sustain my optimism. I'm an optimistic character.
Yeah, yeah.
Saying it is really difficult at the moment because I was saying this to someone else actually. On one hand, you know, and this is just like a surface level observation from my own mind, but on one hand, in the UK, you've got like the young people going out and stabbing each other. That's one issue. That's our issue. That's for the community to come
Yeah,
together
yeah,
and
yeah.
try to sort that out, which is layered and it's difficult because it's can't sort it out instantly. It's like
Hmm.
it takes time. Then on the other hand, you've got what's happening in America with police brutality, and that's a racist thing, and that's like it. We have to deal with that in trying to get the you know people around the world to kind of join the struggle.
Hmm.
Then on the other hand, you've got this happening in Nigeria now, which is like black on black, or so it appears. Mix that with the pandemic, and mix that with everyday life, and just making sure that I'm making bread in the bread bin,
Jeez.
making sure that milk in the, what I'm saying? All of that, and
Mm.
just making sure that the electric meter is topped up
Mm.
is a lot. It feels a lot. It feels like a lot, bro. It
Mm.
feels like it feels like being a black man at the moment. If you can sustain that optimism, if you can sustain that positivity, um, you are in the minority. I feel like it.
Wow, that's mad. So
Yeah.
how are you? Olufemi mentioned it. What strategies are you using to deal with that
Um,
and to deal with these things?
I mean, I have creative outlets. So I forgot the gentleman that was speaking prior.
Triple O.
But he was sitting in the creative room. I really liked what he was saying. Um, and yeah, so I have a creative outlet. I do a lot of art. I do a lot of drawing, which requires me to be still and allows my mind to disconnect,
Mm.
focus on something that I'm creating, that I'm manifesting, that's all coming from me. So I do that. Music, obviously, as you know, and um, fitness. I'm working in the gym as well. So those things are keeping me balanced. Without those things, I think easy to slip into a depression, man. Easy to slip into depression about all of this. I'll be honest with you, Ice, man. It's and what one of my colleagues said to me today, Keely, she said, a lot of it is because of this device we're holding in our flipping hand, man. Just all of the algorithms and the feeds. It's just sending nothing but negativity to the phone, into our brain. You know what I'm saying? But amongst all of this stuff that's going on, bro, there's so much good stuff that's going on. But my algorithms are not sending it to my phone. They're just sending me rich man on the pavement with blood coming out of his head.
Yeah.
In a different part, I'm thinking, raw, like this, and it's before the BBC even picked up on it. This happened like, bro, I was in my session yesterday, and the girl that was in my session, I was like, okay, you need to complete the task that we're doing, and she was just glued to her phone. She goes, sir, something's not in the head. Do you want to see? I went, no. She flipped her phone around. I was like, oh, what is that? What is that? She goes, this is happening in Nigeria now. I said, why is that come straight to your phone? Why is that fed? Like, what is that doing for our psyche? And I appreciate we need to have a collective response as global citizens. We need to be aware of the atrocities. I can appreciate that. I get that. And I don't have the answers. I don't have the answers. I just express them on the platform.
Yeah.
But yeah, it puts me in conflict because at the same time, the world must go on. Like, we've got our own worlds to sustain, but equally, this is happening to our brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, that's my reflection. I find it heavy. I find it really heavy, but I find people like you make it bearable.
Oh wow.
Yeah, bro, because you're using your own time and platform to ask how are you feeling, bro. Like that's big. This is the equivalent of back, you know, like this is the equivalent of, you know, like I don't want to say in slavery, like not, but you know when a man said, look, we have to go around the back and have a meeting, let's get our people together and just talk and come up with a strategy or just talk. This is the equivalent of that.
Okay, man.
Yeah, I think it's amazing, bro. It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, man,
I think like you said, like we actually don't have to have the answers, and we don't have to be okay, because we are not in an answer society and we're not in an okay season. We're in the middle of a pandemic. There is madness happening in America, in Nigeria, in Congo, in China. We're locked down. They want to bring more restrictions. They want to extend the congestion charge. They don't want to feed their own kids in the UK. We are not in a situation where everything is hunky-dory. And I think we have to accept that our optimism is going to be threatened. And I think, like you said, sometimes it's about stepping away from certain things for a second, checking what am I feeding myself. Maybe, I called someone today and they said, I'm on my way to get away. I was like, would you? And so they said, I'm driving somewhere. I've had a terrible week. I'm on my way to get away. I was like, wow. Yeah, that person has assessed their situation and said, you know what? I need to do something that is going to get me out of this headspace that is going to drown me. And whether that's making a song, whether that's going for a walk, whether that's going swimming, whatever it is. And Marby's, talked about this again in the beginning, assessing what are we feeding ourselves, allowing the emotions that come with that to come, but then putting barriers around it and saying, okay, you know what, I've seen this is how this thing makes me feel. You know what, maybe I'm going to step back for a minute, and then assessing what am I going to do with that. Am I going to react with a post? Am I going to, pray about it? What am I going to do with it? All that is a process. And I think, like you said, as global citizens, as human beings, we've got to be easy on ourselves and understand we're just not going to roll over tomorrow and be okay. We're not. That's a process in itself. That is a process emotionally, psychologically, mentally in itself, and we have to be happy with that and accept that. You know?
Yeah, definitely, bro. Definitely, like what you said brings, permeates through me perfectly. Where you said it's okay not to be okay, and at the moment, yeah, and you know, it's like it's like yeah, bro. It's like we live in a society which is, you know, like it all almost you feel an obligation to put on that front and that face, to people that are around you when you go to work and things, and um, you know, there's no mention of it or no, like you work in an environment where it's just whoa, like you step into a world where it almost doesn't exist, but it's so that what is that, a fake world? What is it? I'm saying, what is this? You know what I'm trying to say? Like, because this shit is really real. Because within this fake world, we've got very real people who are affected by it, and they're like, "Yo, sir, did you just see that? Did you see what happened?" I'm like, "Raw, like, raw. Okay, cool." But who else? Someone was, someone else was saying something quite profound as well, and they were saying, "Oh, look, like it's about being able to filter what goes into your mind. It's about being able to protect your mind. It's about being aware of what is going on around you. It's about knowing it's going on around you, and consciously, um, consciously allowing your spirit to reject certain feelings and energies, and being robust enough to kind of do that, because we're going to keep being bombarded by all this information and all this convolution, that comes on. This conversation and pollution, convolution. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Just rain. So yeah, it's but like I say, I see this is great that you're doing this, because you're asking me to reflect, and through reflection, one can give themselves the own answers that they need in order to move forward. So I
True.
thank you, my brother. I thank
That's
you
all
for being up at, what's the time, though? 20 to 11. I thank you for being up at 20 to 11 and doing this, brother, because it's amazing. It's
right.
amazing. Can I just, like, I don't know if you've answered this in previous conversations or whatever, but what are you doing specifically to keep yourself?
I think this. Because this keeps it. I guess this keeps it away from me, and makes me focus on the people. How are the people doing? Because if the people, it's almost like if the people have an outlet to reflect and to process. I do that as I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
As I've talked to Triple O, as I've talked to Marbies,
Yeah.
they are saying stuff that is resonating with me, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
and it's helping me. So, you know, we've been doing this every Thursday since March. Is it March? I think March or April. Every Thursday. So it's almost like I go to a therapy. It's like I go to a therapy session every Thursday with you guys, with whoever I have on, because you're saying things. That's why this one was important that you lot talk, because you're going to be saying things that are speaking to me and speaking to everybody else that is watching. So I think this is my own kind of distressing or own kind of processing of everything that is going on through hearing you lot talk, because it's two ways. It's weird, but it just works. So two way, you know.
Yeah. Brother, I love that, man. Thank you
No
so
worries.
much for inviting me on.
No worries at all, bro. Thank you for sharing, man.
Yeah, man. Cool, man.
Love, man. See you in the field.
Yeah, man. In it.
Big up Nadia that just joined.
What up, lads?
She said, what? Love it.
Alright, love, Ice. In a bit.
Love, bro. Big up to everyone that has just joined us. This is 21 questions. This is the one voice edition where we collectively come in as one voice, just to kind of just share, just to kind of just offload. I've got one more kind of thing I wanted to talk about. Big up Renee that's in the building. Renee, do you want to go live? If you're watching this, I'm going to go and try and go live with you. Who else is here? Let's see if Rebecca is here. RG. No, she's not there. I think she might be sleeping. Coolio. Let me know if you want to go live with me. I want to talk about value in Black lives. Just before we go. We've been saying Black Lives Matter, exactly. Why? Why do Black lives matter? All right, why do Black lives matter? That's what I'm going to write there. It's right there. So put that in the comment section. Anybody know why? Let me see. Renee, if you're in the building, let me know. Because I'm going to come live to you in a sec. I wants to do it. Let's see if Renee applies. If not, then cool, man. Cool, let's go, Ayo. How do I do this again? Alright, cool. Dun, dun, dun. Just connecting with you.
Just about to go to my room. Just give me 2 seconds. Sorry, I just had to accept before like it went. I was like, shit.
You look like you're in some tunnel.
Yeah, I was in my house because everyone else is not as nocturnal as I am. So okay, how are you, bro?
I'm good. I'm good.
Just to really touch on this point because bro, I was gonna say this before, but I forgot, and then I saw your question, so I was like, all right. Okay, so I've actually, this is gonna sound controversial, but for the people who are listening, let me land first, please, because I'm not crazy. But basically, I've stopped identifying as being black. I identify with being a melanated person. I identify with being dark-skinned or brown, because for me that's what I am. And ironically, I was watching a snippet of the Malcolm X film when Denzel Washington's portraying Malcolm X, and they showed the scene of when Malcolm X was in prison, and they start reading the dictionary and stuff. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to take that away from my point, but it kind of backs up my point, is the idea of, okay, let's just go back to if we all go back in history, we go back to where everything started from, technically in Africa. And if we go back to the fact that obviously, left side in Africa, we wouldn't have called ourselves black. So who started calling people black? So it's kind of like, you know how like in the Bible when you're saying certain things like I'm not who they say I am, I'm who God says I am. It's kind of like that way of thinking of like, yo, I can't identify myself as a black person if normally when we associate things with that color, they're not good things.
Okay. So that's
So
negative connotation.
Yeah. So like, don't get me wrong. Obviously, I still watch black stuff. I still watch things that are associated with black people, but I don't identify myself as a black person anymore. Like I've stopped saying it because I just feel like people need to learn to stop allowing people to put labels on them. So that being said, when the BLM movement was going on and I was seeing a lot of things, the thing that I just felt like was going to happen was like, obviously the price of the melanated man or the dark-skinned person or the dark-skinned like people in general has always been challenged. It's like it shouldn't be a discussion. It shouldn't be a thing of, yo, we have to care about like people discriminate against us. That shouldn't even be a reality. But that being said, I've always kind of been a bit weird and iffy about the BLM movement, just simply because I'm like, yo, do they actually realize what they're fighting for, one? And second, if they realize what they're fighting for, why are they so concerned about associating with the name black when we don't normally it's I don't know how to describe it. It's just like, I honestly feel like when people realize the fact of where those terms originally came from, it's almost like you might as well almost call it like nigger life movement, which sounds a bit rude, but it's just like, because it's like, yo, like the people who called us black weren't black people originally. So it's like, that could be quite a personal thing to say, but I just felt like strongly that the idea of, if once we start calling ourselves by, I don't know, being Yoruba, being Nigerian, being dark Asians, because you get like dark Asians who look like us in Asia, you get just everywhere. I feel like if you start associating people with the actual place they come from, the continents and the countries and the tribes, it becomes a much more diverse and more educated experience and kind of discussion as opposed to just saying BLM. I'm discrediting you for saying that. I'm just saying that's just how my perception of it basically.
So with that question, why is there value? Why should we find value in that, in ourselves?
What do you mean?
Like the question I asked, so I said, what was that question? Why do Black Lives Matter? Why does let's say melanated, I like that term. As a melanated person, how do you find value in who you are as a person?
Cool, that's a good question. I see myself as kind of, this is gonna sound a bit rude, but like, I see myself as like a rare specimen sometimes. I feel like I'm a rare entity, like within myself, like just because that's the value of life that I put on who I am as my skin tone, because it's like, I think that's the only response you can have when you're getting constantly bombarded with messages of this is what it means to be this and this is what you should feel about yourself. I think the best way to counter that is to get to the point where you know why you're on this. You know why you're on this earth. You know why you bear this skin tone. You know the beauty of this skin tone. You know the things that you can associate with the fact of like, bro, let's call facts and call spades for what they are. There are plenty of examples across the field, from agriculture to studies, to physics, to biology, to medical care, which is kind of linked to biology anyway, to the arts, to the entertainment, to the sports, across the board, even in politics. Let's just leave that because of this whole situation. But so many different groups and like people within the demographics that prove that when people of our skin tone apply ourselves in these areas, we excel greatly. So that being said, if it has to come to the point that our self-love is that loud, and that, I shouldn't say proud, but that self-love is so loud and is so solidified, then so be it, because we know how excellent we are. So as long as we continuously portray that and treat ourselves like that, then the rest of the world, if they will catch up with that, basically.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that. You got to see it in yourself first, and then execute in that greatness. And I remember Skepta said in lyrics, he said that when he, what did he say? He said, when he understood that value, that's when he knew he could attain greatness. It was understanding it that made him think, okay, well, I can do anything. And I think, you know, I've got a daughter, and that's something that I want her to know within herself. Me and my wife, I want her to know that, you know what, in you, there is greatness that can be achieved. And I think the younger you know that, it shapes your outlook. But we weren't always taught this stuff, you know what I'm saying? We weren't always pointed in that direction. And I think the more, like you said, the more we go and we execute in these different industries, the more it seems standard, and the more it seems the status quo for the younger people coming up and seeing it. But like, oh yeah, I can do that. Yeah. Why would that be beyond me? You know, so
Yeah, exactly.
Bro, thank you again, man. Thank you so much for sharing, man, and sticking around and just bringing your wisdom and your point of view. I mean, it matters, man. So thank you.
Bro, man, I'm so happy you have this channel. You haven't changed. You've only elevated and grown. Honestly, I have people who were watching this who'd met you for the first time, and they were like, "That guy is so. His vibes are so good. Like you have such a good value." So, bro,
love, man. Thank you, man. Love, man, all the time.
Oi. All right.
Take care, bro. Guys, thank you so much for joining us tonight, man. It's hitting. What's the time? Coming up to 11 o'clock. Everyone upstairs is almost sleeping. I'm just going to end here, but I just wanted to share something with you. In all the madness that we've, not madness, but in all the stuff that we've talked about that is happening across the world, there is still light in the darkness. There is still light in the darkness. And I'm a Christian, and so one thing that I turn to when the darkness is trying to cloud me and come down, I turn to the Bible, and I gain wisdom or gain inspiration from it. And one of the scriptures is John 1:5. John 1:5. I'm going to put that right now in the comment section. So if you want to check that out, John 1 verse 5. And it says this. It says, the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness can never extinguish it. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness can never extinguish it. And you know, I read that the other day, and what it kind of said to me was that we're that light, you know, in the different situations that we're in and the different places that we can be. We are the light that is going to shine in those areas. And no matter how dark it gets, as long as we're living, we are that light. The darkness cannot extinguish us. And there's so much going on to bring darkness to our minds and our hearts and make us down, depressed, stressed, frustrated, and everything. But just as we've spoken through all these different people, make sure you're taking time to unplug from what is bringing the darkness so you can recalibrate, refocus, and see how you can shine light in the situation, whether it's shining light on a situation where you're bringing awareness to it, whether you're being that light in a situation, whether it's in your workplace, your home, your family, wherever it may be. Just know that the darkness is not enough to cover us all. And no matter what is happening out there, there is a light that shines bright, and that's in God. And he places that light within us and sends us into the world to bring that light. And when we die, we take that light with us. So wherever you are, take the light that has been placed within you. Take time to find that light. Take time to brighten that light in whatever you do. But just know it can never, ever be extinguished, man. It can never be extinguished. So no matter what this year brings, let's continue to embrace change, adapt, and keep our light alive, man. Thank you so much for joining us, man. 21 questions, the One Voice edition. If you're watching this on replay, go and watch part 1, go and watch part 2. Thank you to every single person that has come on the live. Ayo, thank you. Wayne, Triple O, Marby's Kitchen, And big up to everyone that's just been tuning in. Big up to who we got, Kesh in the building. Big up to Olufemi. Big up to Abby K. Big up to Joe. Who else have we got? Big up to Nadia, Wayne, Tola, William. Who else we got? Big up to Folly Fresh dropped in. Every single person that's dropped in, thank you for your time. And we're going to be back here next Thursday, 9 p.m. 21 questions. My name is IC. I'm going to put my @ in the comment section. So if you want, you can follow me on Instagram. But make sure you're following the Sit Down UK. And you can click the link in the bio. Go on the YouTube link. Watch all the other episodes. We've got 26 episodes where we've had amazing guests who have shared their stories and we've unpacked their stories. Click the link in their bio. Go check them out. And make sure you're following us as we go along throughout this year. Take care. God bless, guys.